Obviously, this is my super duper lazy way to do an intro, but hi, Amy here. I'm still living in Chrysalis, and today I am wrapping up my video to put two separate colors into a single pan while keeping them separate. So here is the result, and keep watching and I'll show you how to make this happen. I had a little advice for those in the cheap seats. When you repress a powder, if you want to put it into your Z palette to let it dry, do not leave the cover closed, because then you get this. Yeah, the cover's still intact, but it's not all nice and clear and pretty, and that is going to bug me, and I can't even get more of these. Two different powder colors in these pans, half and half. So watch how I do this. All right, so my first step, it's one of those, it seems so simple that I was shocked I didn't think of it before. Well, actually, I did think of it before, and I did it with something else, but then I undid it for reasons. So it's the first time I'm doing it on camera. So what I do is I used duct tape, especially the kind that rips quite precisely. And I'm just going to form essentially a barrier in the center of the pan. Going to be layer upon layer. I'm going to pause this so you're not stuck watching me build up every single layer, but you get the idea. You stack them up. So here they just layer them up to build a bridge. Okay, hang on. Okay, my next step after I've built up a few layers, and I kind of make sure to squash it down into the corners here and neaten it up along there, is I then take a slightly wider piece of the duct tape and sort of stand it up here. Oh, sorry, I'm trying not to block your view. Just sort of stand it up along that line and then fold it over so it forms, see, like a little wall, a little barrier there. But you need the few layers already there to help hold the wall in place. And again, this is where we kind of go in like so. Now I'm going to do this to the other pan. You don't need to watch that. Okay, now my final step for trying to make a smooth transition between the two colors is to take care of this with my wee knife. Oh, hang on, my husband's about to come back through. Okay, hubby's back in the bedroom. So the reason why I'm doing this project is because I have these two old blushes. I repressed them into these little pans. But the problem is sometimes a lot of times I want to mix them together. And trying to do that in these little pans is just kind of annoying. So for instance, here's the brown, very pretty. Pink. And then what I like to do is many times is wear them mixed together like so. So So what I want to do is do a half and half pan, so I can use either half, or I can just use both halves and mix it together as I wish. So I'm going to put these pink ones aside for the moment and take care of these guys. I love this part. Mashing and smashing and chopping, and only I like to do this with makeup. I don't like cooking. And boy, does it show. I am an awful cook. But it is fun for me to chop up all these powders. Oh, there was a while back when I was hacking away at and remixing and repressing and doing these things, and my husband come out, see me doing this stuff in the living room, asked me what I was doing. My response was playing with my toys. All right, so obviously before I repress them into these pan halves, got some work to do. Chop them up. I don't think you need to see all of that. Hang on. Okay, you can see a nice finely chopped pile there. And I'm going to add my 91% rubbing alcohol. Now I did learn something last night when I was looking at a lot of watching, whoops, and I spilled it on my lap. Awesome. When I was watching a lot of videos. Now apparently the 91% rubbing alcohol is great for repressing, but if you want to actually sanitize your makeup, you're better off using the 70%. I know, it didn't make any sense to me at first either, until I saw that the reasoning was that the 91% alcohol evaporates faster. That's why it's nice for repressing. It, although sometimes it can lead to some cracking because it dries faster, you run less risk of mold because there's less moisture that could get trapped inside the product. However, when you're sanitizing the product, because you're just spraying the surface generally, you actually want the alcohol to stay a bit longer, to not dry up quite as fast, which is why the 70% alcohol is better to sanitize with. And I feel bad, I don't remember which channel it was that I learned this on. If I remember, I'll certainly link it, but I was just on a binge last night, so who knows. If I find it, I'll give credit. I'm just saying, I did not think this up. We'll give credit where credit is due whenever possible. Okay, so I'm going to take my handy dandy knife and spread it in there. I know it's going to be a little awkward, and I'll have to play with this over the next day or two to press it down somewhat before I do the other side. See, I'm not going to be able to do the pressing right away because it's paste. So as it starts to dry out, I'll make adjustments as I go. See there? Yeah. And if I get a bit of a heap over, that doesn't bother me so much. I can certainly work with that and wear it down. It'll look like a baked formula. I don't even think they baked blushes back when I bought these. These are Mary Kay blushes, and they must be from my original order when I first started. Back then they encouraged heavily, and I went along with it. because I was young and didn't know any better. And of course, this was also before the advent of Amazon, where people, have now become accustomed to waiting for things again. But back in the day, the theory was that you should have some stock in your store. So I put in an $1,800 order and got all this stuff, a lot of which wouldn't suit me, and even then, a lot of which just wasn't what college kids my age were wearing, at least not the ones who wore combat boots and concert t-shirts like I did most of the time. Okay, so there we go. So yeah, I had all this stuff, and I still have some of it. That's why I have all these repressed products, because I'm trying to make them work for me. A, because I'm annoyed at myself for spending all that money, and B, because I've got the stuff, and if it's usable, why waste it? Especially if it's something I can use. I mean, I've taken bunches of colors I don't like and mixed them into things I do, or at least I think I will. So that's actually fun for me. Okay, so I'm going to let these dry for a while, and I will revisit this project probably in the morning to do a little extra work on it. So hopefully I'll remember to check in with you guys there. So you see it's dried, and like I said, with the 91% isopropyl alcohol, it can crack, but I'm not terribly concerned about that at the moment. I'll smooth that over later. So let's take away our little guard here. All right. Come on. Yes, I'm kind of pressing it down to... All right, so see, there we go there. That one. Oh, where's my dropper? Oh, dear. Oh, I didn't do such a great job with this one. I think it's this particular duct tape. But that's all right. I'll make it work. Okay. Hang on one sec. I got to get my dropper. Okay, again, dropper full of 91% alcohol. And just going to kind of smooth that into there. Smooth over these cracks. Just a little bit anyway. Drop, drop. Drip, drop, drip, drop. There we go. All right, now for this one. Kind of mush that in there as well. I think I need a little more. Oh, I did not intend to do that. Oh well, it'll help me clean up the plate for the next color. Alrighty, there we go. See? A few more drops to smooth over the cracks. All right, now I just got to clean my plate off. Okay, now we've got the second color to mash up, which is always fun. I just love the digging and the chopping, and it's kind of ridiculous, really. Now, this the other color had been drying for approximately 24 hours before I started this step. So you do have to give things time to dry. And then re-wet them if necessary. So far, the only powders I've had trouble with repressing is a Tarte one. So I would say with Tarte, what I learned was I was actually attempting to repress the blush color Entertain, and I'd put a tissue between the top of the wet product and the other pan I was using to press it with, and a lot of the pink leached into the tissue. A lot of it. It was actually rather strange. So if you're going to repress a Tarte powder, I would really be cautious about that, and maybe not use a tissue in between it, but use something that won't take the color out. I don't know, wax paper maybe, or just put it in loose. I don't know. But okay, here we go. Smash, smash, smash. Mash, 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 mash. Okay, doing pretty good here. Now it's time for da-da-da! Rubbing alcohol. All right, let's see how that one goes. Need more. Okie dokie. Oh, okay, didn't mean to do that. That's going to be quite wet now. Oh well. I always have little mishaps when I do these things. Do I ever get a nice, smooth, polished, perfect presentation? Oh no. No such animal in my world. But what I do have is a pretty pink paste to start slamming into pans. All right, here we air that in. Be kind of gentle around the seam and press it in, so that hopefully there aren't going to be any air bubbles in there. You can see. There we are. Okay. Let's get started with this one. Set that one aside for a moment. Grab my other pan. And again, where they meet up, make sure to really press it into the seam with the other color and into the nooks and crannies there. All right, well, this isn't as even as I thought it would be, but it'll be fine. This one's just going into my travel kit anyway, so it's not as big of a deal. Well, either way, it's not a big deal. These are ancient, but it would be nice to use them up and not have to buy new ones right away. I've been buying a lot of eyeshadow lately because I really don't have much. And while I do have some old ones to work through, they need companion colors. All right, so I've got that on here. That'll work. Set that aside for the moment. So, see, I've still got a lot of paste left, and see how much more heaped up the brown is than the pink there. So I've got some room to add some pink here. Yes, darling, I got some powdery bits that didn't get alcohol. I know. I'll work them into there. Okay, here we go. And I don't mind the pink being a little more dominant in this setup than the brown. Obviously, if you're more concerned about being totally even, you'd take a bit more care when setting your barrier, but it's not as important to me because if I'm going to use one of the colors by themselves, it is more likely to be the pink. Okay. See anything else I can get off of there? Oh, it's looking pretty good. All right. So again, just kind of trying to even that up a bit. Now, I'm gonna let this dry overnight again and do some of the final pressing, smoothing, etc. tomorrow. Help if I didn't drop it face down. Dark. Yeah, this pan actually came from a broken Tarte eyeshadow. But I try to keep some of the empty pans around to use for such projects. Okay. I could put a little more pink in this one, I think. Just a smidgen more. This is the part where we start kind of smooth and it moves around and there's always something to be done with these. It'll look so much better when it's done, I swear. Okay, so it's pretty good for the moment. I'll let those dry overnight again. This is the third day of messing with it. I did some things off camera because the video was already getting a little long. I did re-dampen. I re-wet and pressed these down further. That developed a crack, so I mended it. Then once it dried, I brushed off the top of it to work on it, just to work on the very top. And then I realized there was still some hard pans, so I did the clear tape trick, which has worked beautifully. So, this stuff. So that worked beautifully. And now you can see I have 2 pans of blush that have 2 colors per pan done myself. So there you go. That's how to do it. Enjoy. Thank you so much. I'm really happy with the way these turned out. And you'll be seeing these in my Z palettes soon. So don't forget to subscribe. Help a girl out. See you soon. Thanks.